When you get to kilometre 109, don't go right. The bikers all went right.
Deux
200 meters.
Alors on arrive
We're in the tricky part.
120-49. En 200 mètres.
In 200 meters, there will be mud in a wadi. The dunes are great. It's so good. Beautiful dunes like we like them. Fantastic.
The De Rooij team had a very difficult build-up to this Dakar. After Ton van Genuchten tragically lost his life, Hans Stacey was ruled out on medical grounds and a deal to bring Federico Viagra fell through. So it's a pretty experimental lineup, but Vic Verstuynen, who replaced the 2007 winner Stacey, is doing a very solid job in 8th place overall. Maurik van den Heuvel was running 9th this morning for the Dakar Speed team, but he had a bit too much speed through this bumpy section with disastrous consequences. I was going pretty well in the dunes and I wasn't actually taking that many risks, but I lost my balance just back there and yeah, we flipped over. It's the end of Dakar. Again. Well, the Dutch may not be able to keep up with the Russians, but they're still out in force in the trucks. Gert Huizing had a really solid performance today, coming 6th, and it's a real shame that he lost so much time back on stage 1B. The rally leader Dmitry Sotnikov described this as a very long day. The Russian had trouble finding one waypoint and that cost him a few minutes. But as you can see, unless they run into serious trouble, the Kamaz quartets are never too far apart. Sotnikov remains on top. Martin van den Brink became just the second non-Kamaz driver to snatch a podium place today after Janus van Kasteren on stages 3 and 4. There were no navigation errors for the veteran Dutchman, who enjoyed the technical dunes on his way to 3rd. It was also a smooth run for Eduard Nikolaev, who praised the race organisers for another enjoyable stage. One of the best drivers of his generation, Nikolaev is lurking right behind Sotnikov as the battle for the truck's crown hots up. Anton Shibalov must have been feeling a bit left out back at the Kamaz paddock last week as his teammates all romped to victory, but he finally has his first stage win of 2022. Runner-up at the last two editions of the Dakar, Shibalov did a fine job with navigation. He shores up his spot on the overall podium. It was a bad day for Van Kasteren, who also crashed and lost nearly 40 minutes. A solid effort though from the evergreen Teruhito Sugawara to come 10th on the day. Van Kasteren's loss is Aleš Loprice's gain. The Czech moves up to 4th overall. Sotnikov's lead is cut to 5 minutes and 14 seconds.
From Audi's RSQ e-tron to Gossin's fully hydrogen-powered racing truck, Dakar Future, an ambitious vision realised, with more projects underway.
3 years ago came the idea to come into the Dakar with a hybrid technology. It means electrical support.
We started the project in 2015. Everybody in that year say we were crazy, but finally in 2017 we made it and we finished the Dakar Rally with the Action Eco Power.
This vehicle is the most powerful hydrogen vehicle ever built. In Saudi, there's already a surname for this vehicle. They call it Sherazad because on the same times we produce electricity for the powertrain and we produce 100 liters of water per hour.
Gen Z feels responsible to work for the future of the mobility in general. And today I'm happy to say that the dreams came true, because in the beginning of December we have seen our fuel cell Gen Z producing a big quantity of electricity.
To do a car with such a lot of electronic inside and software is really not easy, and the goal is obviously to win the Dakar in 2023.
We want to prove that an electric truck can compete with normal trucks. So that's what we are going to do in the coming 10 years. Make sure that big machines can convert to completely emission-free.
And with Team de Roy planning the first emission-free truck by Dakar 2024, the future is green.
Jérôme Galpin, who has more than 50 rally victories to his name, and his wife Anne have been just outside the classic top 10 for the last week. But out in front overall, Jesus Fuster and Juan Carlos Ramirez, who hold just a single point lead over Serge Monio in second. Other end of the classification, lying almost last, are brothers Albert and Stepan Pants. Competitively speaking, their Dakar has so far been, well, pants, but they're enjoying the ride in their Land Rover. Difficulty in the desert for Carlos Pujolar in the Peugeot Proto. They were riding high in their classification, H3, but as they went to change a wheel, it turned out to be much more problematic. We decided to stop and change the tyre. When we stopped, the car just fell to the ground. We were lucky because it wasn't a fast section. The brake disc exploded and broke the damper. There's plenty of work to do on that car overnight, and it looks like any chances of classic victory are over. Looking in much better shape, two Toyota Land Cruisers to show you now. Pascal Ferrin, who's riding not as mad as he did last year, he says, but he couldn't stop himself being overtaken by Fritz Becker. There are no words. It's iconic, both on the outside and the inside. It's a real plaything. It could practically still do the normal Dakar and outshine plenty of more recent vehicles.
Philippe Jacquot is the only Frenchman to have won a truck stage on the Dakar, and the rally is now a family affair.
We grew up with the story of the Dakar. I must have been 12 when Dad started taking part.
It was a passion that the whole family got involved with. I thought I shouldn't be the only one enjoying this.
I was meant to take part in Dakar Classic with Dad's old truck, but I ended up in this beautiful car behind us. Jacques goes all over the big whack.
Philippe was supposed to be driving the Peugeot 205 T16 this year until Christophe Gossin made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
It was a very sudden change. It all happened in the space of a couple of days. Around a fortnight ago, Mr. Gossin himself called me to ask if I would drive his truck. My son's enjoying himself, and so am I.
Especially being in this iconic 205 driven by Ari Vatanen. It's simply exceptional for me. I'm incredibly lucky and very grateful. Thanks to Dad, we're really experiencing something very special. The car was already very nicely put together by the Peugeot Sport engineers. We've obviously made some modifications because the car is 35 years old.
Well, it's much closer to a standard production vehicle than current prototypes. This car won the Dakar on its first participation with Ari Vatanen. Well, there are certain things that haven't changed, especially on the dashboard. The displays, the pressure gauge, it's really very similar to the original.
Above all, it's a human adventure. It's about going beyond your limits. And we're lucky enough to be here with a remarkable car that has inspired people of all ages and still does, even in Saudi Arabia. The locals all want to take photos with us. Our beautiful 205 really turns heads, and we didn't expect it. We feel like stars, but the real star is the car. There were a lot of proud faces among the Saudi spectators present at the Riyadh bivouac yesterday evening when local hero Yazid Al-Raji was handed his medal on the FIA World Rally Raid Championship podium after finishing best placed driver of the previous stage.
Voilà, vous pouvez les applaudir.
First, I am happy this year have championship, world championship, and thank you for organizer and for Dakar to join this and make it big championship. Sure, we are now more motivation, big fight for that, and I am happy I find this medals, and we need a lot of this. Sure, next week is a big fight and wait us for all the season. We fight every race with the top driver in the world and the best driver, and we have big fight. I hope win this year.
In the new updated W2RC standings, Nasser Al Attiyah remains in the lead, but Sebastian Loeb is now only 1 point behind. Yazid Al-Raji remains third.
Stage 8, Monday, sees all crews head south from Al Dawadmir to Wadi Ad-Dawasir, deep into the desert skirting the upper edge of the empty quarter. A long day of liaison and nearly 400 kilometres of special with an enormous dune sea to navigate. As the bivouac packs up and migrates south, let's linger a moment in Ad-Dawadmir, where the murals display the kind of informal street art that's springing up all over the country, inspired by the nation's top graffiti artist Clack, known as the Saudi Banksy. Sitting right in the centre of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, this old tribal town mixes the ancient with the modern. Time ticks away. Join us tomorrow as Dakar 2022 continues.